enemies, haters, and nemesis. And if I miss, I'm coming back, made a promise to finish this. I had the power since Genesis, that's only one of the benefits. That's why the Hummers and motorcades do 100 through tunnels into the bridge. They should be under my tutelage, cause with the hammer I'm too legit. Only lose if you choose to bury the truth and silence the root of it. I can't be silent, I'm ruthless, got the potential to prove it. Why oh why am I the only one who sees it? The devil's in the details, everything's strategic. I need holy water, I need Holy Spirit. You can lay and rot, I resurrect like Jesus. I'm still living, I'm still getting it, I'm still putting in work. I'm still repping, got my weapon and I hit them where it hurts. I'm still 7 steps ahead of heaven, heavily immersed. Shotty in the Chevy, lady got to send me in the purse. I'm still living, I'm still getting it, I'm still putting in work. I'm still repping, got my weapon and I hit them where it hurts. I'm still 7 steps ahead of heaven, heavily immersed. Shotty in the Chevy, lady got to send me in the purse.
Resurrection, I'm alive. Put me in a box like I'm paralyzed. You're gonna pay for what you stole. I'm alive, I'm alive. Thought I'm gone, but I'm coming back. You know I'm quick like a heart attack. I'm taking back the throne. I'm alive, I'm alive.
I resurrect like Jesus. Respiratory pressure, keep my breath normal in chest. My heart is warm-blooded and let's remind ourselves I can attest that enemies seek to destroy every woman, mammal, and boy. North and south of equator, they mobilize and deploy. No disguise to protect you, there's no such hiding place. I retraced all of my steps and all I found was a diamond and toys. Metal objects to shatter, spread broken glass in a pattern on open fields. We never yield on this side of the war. You got me once, I come again. I called your bluff, you run again. You run again, you run again, you run again. Why oh why am I the only one who sees it? The devil's in the details, everything's strategic. I need holy water, I need Holy Spirit. You can lay and rot, I resurrect like Jesus. I resurrect like Jesus. I'ma resurrect like Jesus. Resurrect like Jesus.
Resurrection, I'm alive. Put me in a box like I'm paralyzed. You're gonna pay for what you stole. I'm alive, I'm alive. Thought I'm gone, but I'm coming back. You know I'm quick like a heart attack. I'm taking back the throne. I'm alive, I'm alive.
Here we are, living in the moment. And here we are, dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Look ahead, we can see forever. You and me doing it together. Light it up, we can be a million stars. Look at us, don't you see we've come so far? Yeah, we've come so far. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time, and these are our plans. We're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop This is our world, this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. This is our world, and this is our time. And these are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. We won't stop dreaming.
DJ Khaled. Hey. Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere, but they saying Luda's back. Blame it on that contour, the hood call it Ludayak. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down, like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South's champion. Cause all I do, all I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. Swerving in my
Hello,
loud head on this.
hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether you're on Zoom or you're live on YouTube, welcome to the fucking final surrender. I am so freaking glad that you're all here. I'm going to simply tell you a quick lay of the land, what today's experience will look like. We're going to be doing two activations, okay? One of them is a very short one, and it'll be to integrate a specific part of today's segment. The other will be right at the end, the longer one, the one that you guys love. And this is unlike any activation I've done in a webinar. So this will be like an entire immersive one, the type of activations that I do inside my paid experiences containers, like my full, people who have been in Quantum Code, Timeline Debt Challenge, God Code of Business. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a very, very immersive one. So for that, I will, especially for that part, I will ask you to have your phones off on silent, airplane mode, whatever. It'll be like for anyone who's here, I noticed someone said, I'm here to surrender to the highest version of me, right? So whatever it is that you're here for, right? Make sure that you're here with your heart, your full body in this present moment, because it is a very, very, very packed experience. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. And by the time you leave here, you will literally be blown away by how simple A, surrender is, and B, why the fuck did I get it so wrong all this time, right? So without further ado, welcome to the final surrender, the last bow. Today's experience will take you for a bloody ride. It is multi-layered, multi-dimensional, and my expectation is that you keep up. So if you're trying to scramble for notes, let me just pause you right there. The YouTube live stream will stay there forever, so you can go ahead, catch the replay if you want to make notes. But for the duration of this live experience, my recommendation, drop the pens, drop the notebooks. Your subconscious, your heart, your body is intelligent enough to know what to remember. Because if you're busy taking notes, you might miss the moment. You might actually miss the exact message your soul came here to receive because you were too busy treating this like a classroom, right? This is not a classroom for the mind, all right? We don't even entertain the mind up here. This is for your soul, for your heart, for the divine in you to remember where you came from and who you move with so that you free yourself of any false god that has held your heart on hostage. All right. So let's talk about the word surrender to start off with, right? Off the bat. Surrender sounds very one dimensional. And I've had so many people, and at one point I was the people, right? Who have asked me and have, brought this one concern with surrender. And this is like perpetually across all different kinds of people with different problems, with different things that they were going through, all had one thing to say about surrender that Anna, okay, I get it, but it's so passive. Surrender makes me feel like I'm not doing anything. It feels so passive. It feels like, what? So like I just, I'm just like hands off, like nothing, like don't take care of anything in my life. Everyone always talks about it though, right? Like everyone's always like, just let go, just let God, just surrender. It will happen. And it seems like, you're being asked to wait in a corner until God Almighty finally decides that yes, you can have your thing, right? You can have it. Now you've surrendered. It gives off like, a pretty victimizing almost vibe, a very helpless kind of vibe that, oh, like I just have to, like, wait and hope that God out of his busy little schedule makes time for me. And people treat surrender usually like that, right? So for that's why for a lot of people, surrender feels like the last thing they want to do. Right? Because and usually, by the way, it is the last thing that they do, right? When all backs are against the wall, when there's no way out, when logic fails you, control fails you, you arrive at the door of surrender, beaten, bruised, tired, helpless. You're just like, damn, I guess I'll just have to surrender now. I don't think I can figure out my way through this one. Maybe this is the time where God's going to come through, right? Like I was literally talking to someone the other day about surrender, and I told them in a fewer words, like a summary of everything I'm sharing with you today. And the first thing he was like, Anna, that's impractical. What do you mean I surrender to God every step of the way? When I know the way, why would I surrender? If I know I'm thirsty, I can get up and get water. Like, why get God involved in like the mundane? You know what I mean? And that's the illusion we're here to shatter, right? Because that surrender is somehow either a bad thing or b the emergency helpline, right? You don't call 911 because you can't find your socks. You call 911 when there's a murder, right? Like on the big things you call God, and the little things, like, come on, I can handle that one, right? And then we're trained, conditioned, brainwashed into believing what? That surrender is when you tap out, right? When in actuality, surrender is the thing that frees you from ever arriving at a point where you feel like you need to tap out. And the reason we see it otherwise is because of what? Because of our tainted perception of God. We all know it. We've all had it. We've all been conditioned to have these distortions when it comes to God. The perception that says God Almighty is like the last hope, right? You don't go to God for little things, you go to God at the end. When you can't do anything, then you involve God as if he's some president of a Fortune 500 company and you're an intern. And you're like, oh, well, if I have a problem, I'll go to my boss first. I'll go to the manager first. Why get the big guy involved, right? And why the president? I'm just an intern. And it's the separation which makes us feel far from God, disconnected from God. Like, oh, he's somewhere out there in this big world, and I'm just here like a little dot in the universe. So we write ourselves off a life of ease, joy, abundance. We think, much like that intern, that we have to somehow prove ourselves worthy of blessings. We have to earn our way to the top. In other words, we're literally brainwashed by capitalism. And that conditioning, very easy, trickles down into every part of our lives. From our relationships, I think about stuff that, a lot of old married couples will tell you. Marriage is hard work. You have to be patient. You have to go through hard days. You will feel like killing this person, but you just have to like keep going. And then somehow you'll, end up at the end and, somehow not have killed each other. And that's what a good marriage somehow is. When I was getting a divorce, for example, um, a lot of people told me, they were like, Anna, these problems, they're just normal. And I was like, it's not about the problems. We don't like each other. And they're like, that's nobody likes each other. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you married to someone you don't like? And it was all from people who did not, who didn't really care for the spouses that they were with either. But they had kids with them and they had struggled with them, and that was noble, that was glorified, right? And struggle, think about it, right? It's there's some nobility to it as well. That, oh yeah, he our ancestors, what type of stories do they tell us, right? Oh, like we used to climb mountains and swim through rivers to get to school, so we earned this hard work is the thing in life. And somehow we adopted that narrative. Why? Because, well, shit, like they were honored and people were like, that's a guy, he knows his shit. One of the things that a lot of old people, I didn't, my hair didn't get gray under this just by standing in the sun. It's wisdom, comes from hard work, comes from suffering. We've glorified it so much, so deep. So stories of deep struggle, a person working their butt off to prove that they are worthy of the success they desire. So when we hear someone say ease is godly, actually, if you move with God, everything will feel easy. Things will flow effortlessly. The whole 9 yards, right? People are like, wait, what do you mean? Where's the part where I earn this? How can I get something if I didn't earn it? So, and this is the gag, right? Because so many religious people who worship laws and not God, who are more religious than their scriptures themselves, right? Those are the ones that glorify struggle a lot as well. And it's dangerous when a religiously looking person really glorifies struggle. If you want to get close to God, what do you think? What do you think? You think, okay, so I have to let go of ease. I have to walk through life like it's, thorns and I don't know what the hell else. And then somehow God will, cross my fingers, hope God's going to say yes. When none of that is actually godly. None of that is what God actually said so in any book, by the way. So people go like, they use their efforts, they're controlled to a point of exhaustion as a badge of honor that I earned it. Now that I've earned it, now I can surrender. And then they surrender, by the way. They do. They really do. And everything shifts like this. So they're like, okay. So see, like I worked all this and then I left to God, and that's when it changed. That's when it worked out. Because all the effort I put in. Except it had nothing to do with your effort. It actually shifted the moment you stopped worshiping your efforts and let God run the show. And here's the truth I am here to burn in your bones tonight. Your effort never opened the door, it never collapsed the timeline. The second your ego got dethroned, the second you actually bowed, that's when time collapsed. That's when the shift happened. It wasn't your striving, it wasn't your planning. It was the moment you stopped worshiping effort and let God be the doer. And I have one more thing. For every single person who has joined this webinar, um, I've created a very, very detailed and practical workbook for you that I will share with you by the end of this experience that will take everything that I am sharing with you here live, everything this transmission is awakening. It is literally a practical step-by-step guide. I was initially going to take you through those practical steps within this, but that would have taken a long time. You guys, all of us, we would have been here for like 5 hours. So I'm instead going to, by the end, share that practical thing with you once I've shared, all the fundamentals of what we're going through. So you can go ahead and apply it as well. All right. Now, coming back. What is the last bow about, right? It is about dethroning the ego from the get go. It's about remembering that you have direct access to God, not as a last resort, as your first instinct. Because the bow is not a weakness, it is ignition. It is the only posture that unlocks Godspeed. And I want to share, the scripture as well, the spiritual aspect of it as well that seals this, right? And both from the Quran and the Bible, right? In the Quran, Allah says, "Not even a leaf falls without His will." In the Bible, God says, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." Now, if you actually take these literally, right, through the lens of fear, and I did this for a very long time. I used to think so my pain, my heartbreak, my failures, all of that was basically God wanting me to suffer. It was being done to me. And if no leaf is falling without God's will, then shit, all of this predestined, honey. But that was the distortion. That's the lie that has been preached to keep people in chains. Because here's the truth. God is a doer behind creation itself. Okay. And when we say creation is finished, we recognize that all timelines, all of them have already been written. God is the doer that makes it manifest in your reality. But you are the chooser. So he says, "I am how my servant thinks of me," right? Which means his will, it's infinite, it's overflowing, it contains every possibility, every name, every timeline, every experience. But what declares, decides, consents your experience in the 3D is what you consent to, what you think of him as, what you think of yourself as, what you think of life as. That is the filter you experience God's will through. If you think God is punishing, you'll experience punishment. If you think he's withholding, you'll live in lack. If you think he's merciful, you'll drown in mercy. If you think he's generous, you'll taste abundance everywhere. So your experience of God mirrors your perception of him. So when God says not even a leaf falls without his will, it doesn't mean he willed your heartbreak. It means every event that ever happens to any single being in the world is veiled in his command. Nothing escapes him, but your consent, your perception of which face of God you're meeting in that moment, that's your free will. That's where "I am how you think of me" collapses the timeline. If you have that in your field, of course you'll see it. And people love to blame shit on God, don't they? They love to put everything on God's radar. Why? Because then you don't have to take accountability for it. But I want you to think about God's will as the ocean and your perception as the cup you drink from. God's will as the ocean and your perception as the cup you drink from. If your cup is poisoned with fear, the ocean tastes bitter. If your cup is filled with faith, the same ocean tastes like honey. I'll give you another example. Think about this water bottle, right? It has water inside it. Water has no taste, right? Usually. Now, if I was eating a mint gum before this, I'm going to taste the water how? Really, really cold, right? If I was drinking coffee before this, that's going to filter what? My perception, because what creates perception are senses, my perception of how the water is. If my mouth is dirty, this will feel dirty. If my whatever, so you, how you taste it, what you how you sort of like, prime your free will, your perception is how you will experience the very neutral reality. So pain isn't God wanting you to hurt, it's the echo of a perception, the reflection of a distorted lens. And the bow is what removes the lens. It is how you taste the real ocean again. And that's why it matters because a lot of people think surrender is saying, God, do with me what you will, even if it's suffering. Surrender is saying, God, you are the doer, and I choose to see you as mercy, as abundance, as ease. So collapse me into that name. There's a big difference between the two. And most people think that surrender is just like, yeah, well, God's gonna figure it out, I guess. Okay, not with that attitude. You're gonna get a reflection of your attitude. So this brings us to the second part of today's segment, which is the illusion of control. Because if pain isn't punishing you, if pain isn't God punishing you, and if suffering isn't some divine lesson plan, then why do so many of us stay stuck in it? Because we've been bowing to the wrong altar, the altar of control. And here's the thing about control, by the way, it's very, very smart. It feels safe, firstly, right? Let's admit it. Control does feel safe, doesn't it? It feels noble, it does. It feels like power, doesn't it? It makes you feel like you have certainty. And the ego thrives on certainty. The ego loves to feel certain, loves to predict shit, right? But control is the last idol. It's the ego's little golden cup. It whispers, right? If I could just figure it out, if I need to know how it happens. And most people don't even know they're still worshiping it. That's the gag. I love how, right, when I was talking about this, it lagged. So most people, they don't even know that they're worshiping control, right? Because a lot of times control hides under the mask of surrender, right? And there are two types of surrenders most people practice. And like I said before, only one of them actually works, right? The first one is spoken surrender. It is the words you say, the prayers you make, the journal entries that cry, God, I trust you. I let go, God. It's very external, right? It's even, in fact, let me tell you this, even sometimes it will look like your ego saying, well, you wouldn't act this way if you hadn't surrendered, right? Like you might make one big crazy decision and to prove to yourself that you've surrendered. But deep down, the ego is still gripping. It's still strategizing. It is still trying to control the outcome. Because spoken surrender is often just ego in religious clothing. But the other surrender, surrender of the heart, is the actual collapse. It is when we dethrone the ego. It's when you don't even have to say you trust your entire nervous system. It's like dripping in peace. The fight leaves your body. The control leaves your mind. The illusion of being the doer shatters. and you finally feel the truth. God moves me, and therefore the world moves for me. And the struggle most people have is that they confuse spoken surrender with heart surrender. They will think, yeah, yeah, I've bowed, I'm surrendered. But they're so gripping everything so tightly, right? Making control their God. They'll say, yeah, I've surrendered, but they obsess over when money will come. Yeah, yeah, surrender, but micromanaging how it will happen. Yeah, I've surrendered, but still gripping fear tighter than faith. That's not bowing. That's bargaining, right? And think about it like this. It's like you're a wave in the ocean trying to control the tide. You splash, you fight, you strategize, and what happens? You exhaust yourself. Meanwhile, the tide is going to rise and fall, whether you grip or not. So the only question is, will you exhaust yourself resisting it? Or will you bow and let the tide carry you farther than your little wave could ever imagine? And this is where idol worship comes in, because people think it's just about statues, but it's actually about worshiping anything other than God as your source of power. It's about outsourcing the throne of your heart to anyone or anything other than God. When you worship effort, you've made effort your God. When you worship control, you've made control your God. When you worship logic, you've made logic your God. And here's the gag. A lot of times in the spiritualesque community, people will have, okay, I don't worship logic, I don't worship effort, da, da, da. But you know what they do secretly end up worshiping and get caught up in? Their rituals. If I just do this, okay, I don't feel like I'm in control of anything outside. Let me be in control of how much I visualize. And there's a difference in the intent behind why you do any method when it comes to training your nervous system. If you're doing it to train the body, train the mind, sure. But if you're doing it as a form of worship, thinking that doing that thing is going to change the world outside of you, you've made that shit your God. And that is so sneaky because people don't realize it. They think they're doing something holy, but the doing of that thing over and over again just makes them, grip their little visualizations tighter. And when they open their eyes, they're like, where is it? If your nervous system didn't collapse and you doing that little process, then that is something that you're worshiping. And again, that's an illusion of control. That's not surrender. Because none of these things can bend reality. None of these can collapse time. None of these can resurrect the impossible. Only God can. Only the heart coded surrender, the bow of the heart, that can collapse timelines. Because spoken surrender actually lengthens time. It will make it feel longer than it actually is. And heart surrender, it collapses it. Every second you cling, you stretch the distance. And every time your heart bows, the veil rips and the impossible folds into the now. So the question burning here is simple. Are you ready to stop performing surrender and start being it with your breath, with your heart? Are you ready to let your ego and its control be evicted once and for all? To be so aware of God that you never let a thought, slip by your awareness. A thought of the ego, you catch it, you notice it. You go like, not on my watch. Because remember, spoken surrender is ego in disguise, heart surrender is ego dethroned, and control is the last idol. And every idol falls in the bow. And the ego bows to control because it fears the unknown. But the heart bows to God, and the unknown thereafter bows to you. Do you guys have any questions so far? Because after this, we're going into the third part, and that is really, really powerful. It's the mechanics of the collapse. Let's see. Um, oh, hey, Rocco. Rock on. Do you guys have any questions so far? Do you? Ooh, okay, one second. All right, all right. Let's play some music while we're at it. Let's play some music. I'm not sure if I've surrendered or not. I guess it's my ego wanting to know if I have. Yeah, that is your ego wanting to know if I have. It's again, what is this? It's the ego mechanism of control looking like perfectionism. I want to make sure I got, surrender right. I want to make sure I've done everything that needs to be done to surrender. Surrender, when you actually surrender, there is no question if I've surrendered or not. It's just, it is a knowing that washes over you. Why do some say the moon is full moon, so do this ritual to keep calm, etc.? I don't get that. Same with crystals. Um, Girl, people say what they say. I mean, think about it. Why do, the pharmaceutical industries tell you what they tell you? Everyone's trying to make bank somehow. But honestly, I truly believe it's the placebo effect. It's that if you actually think a rock has more power over you than God Almighty, then check yourself, right? Um, and, anyways, coming to the mechanics of the collapse, right? The bones of this, the teeth of this, the actual thing that takes all of this from like a philosophical thing to a scientific thing. Okay. So it's one thing to say surrender collapses timelines, but if we don't actually understand what time and space are, it will just sound poetic and not embodied. And I don't want you, like, I don't care for you to leave here with just pretty words, right? I want you to leave here with open eyes, with an open heart, and an understanding so deep that it actually shifts you. Um, I would like to know the difference between having a need, holding the faith for it, and it being in the will of God. How do I tell surrender apart from complacency? Mhm. Okay, so do you mean in terms of like in relation to action, or like could you give me an example maybe to that we can explore this? Oh, you did ask it in the questions too. I would like to know if in relation to, okay, yeah, amazing, perfect. So in relation to action towards the end, I'm going to be talking about the three planes of existence, right? The mental, the spiritual, the physical, and how they combine in relation to surrender. And the workbook that I've designed is to align that as well. Okay, so I got you. Okay. Now, what I want to talk about is space and time, right? Now, to start off with, I want us to go to the understanding of dimensions, right? We hear the words 3D, 4D, 5D, I don't know, whatever D in this community a lot, right? And I want to go step by step to build up on what space and time really are. Now, the first thing I want you to think about is the first dimension, 1D, right? Now, the first dimension is the line. It's a simple line. There's no depth, there's no width, there's just length, right? And if you were a creature who lived in 1D, you wouldn't even see the line. You would only ever know one point, just the point that you're on. No concept of past or future, no sense of over there, just here, just now, just that's 1D, a point. 2D is a flat plane, right? And when you add width to it, you enter 2D. It's like a flat land, like the stick figures that I draw on my whiteboard, right? Like a cartoon. Here you can move up and down, you can go left to right, but there's no in or out, right? If you pick up a character, a 2D character off the paper, they would vanish because up doesn't exist for them. Their whole reality is flat. They're blind to depth, right? And then you come to 3D, which is our world, right? When you add depth to 1 and 2D, you arrive at the third dimension, our human world. There's height, there's width, there's depth, there's form, there's objects, there's bodies. You can hold stuff here, you can touch things here, you can, there it's physical, it's got depth. You can move through up and down, you can forward and back, you can walk around with objects, you can touch, measure, explore. You can, as a 3D being, you can see 2D completely, but a 2D being cannot perceive you. You live above their dimension. And this is really important because in a second, I'll show you that time is the same. But I want you to understand that as a 3D being, you can see the 2D character, but they can't perceive you. And so, much like that, the fourth dimension is time. And here's where the veil rips. When you add another dimension to 3D, you get time. It is not a force outside of you, actually. The 4D is time, and your mind is the 4D, which means your mind is time itself. Time does not exist except in your mind. The past is only alive because you remember it. The future only exists because you imagine it. The present, this moment, is the only thing that is actually here. What do we always say? There's only now, right? Everything exists in the now. What does that mean? Your mind is time. When your mind races, time feels long, it feels dragged. When you're feeling anxious about something, right? Just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Time literally feels like it slows down to mess with you. But it's your mind that creates this perception of time. But when you're in a flow state, time flies. What do they always say? Time flies when you're having fun. You don't even realize. And it's like, what? It's been 4 hours already? Because your mind isn't there to narrate time, to slow it down. When you're in meditation or deep presence, time disappears. Or my favorite one, when you're sleeping, you go to sleep at 9 p.m., you wake up 5 a.m., and it's like, did you actually feel those hours? It was like one moment you were asleep, the next you woke up. Sleep isn't the absence of awareness, it is the awareness of absence. Absence of what? Mind. The one that narrates you through time, that makes you think that there's something called time. It's not fixed. It isn't real in the way that we think it is. And this is a foundational thing that I want you to leave here with. That time is narrated by your mind. It is the film reel that your mind runs. That's why you can literally live an entire lifetime in a dream in 10 minutes. It's why kids feel like summer lasts forever. It's why trauma can make 5 minutes feel like 5 hours, and joy can make 5 hours feel like 5 minutes. Because your mind is time. Every moment your mind clings, you lengthen timelines. Every moment your heart bows, you collapse time. And 5D, it is beyond space and time. And that's where surrender comes in. It is where your mind is so still that time stops. Think of prayer. Think of moments when you were so lost in presence that you forgot everything else but that moment. That is what happens when you bow. It is not passive, it is an interruption to time itself. Because the moment you surrender, the mind, time gets dethroned. And the present, the eternal now, becomes the only reality. That is collapsing time. That is Godspeed. This deep stillness of the mind. Because most people, they live so much of their lives in the mind. What do they often say? Sorry, I'm just caught up in my head today. Sorry, my mind's running a million tabs today. Mind, mind, mind. That's time. And most people use the mind, use the time traveling machine they have to perpetually live from the past, to continuously go back there and bring that here. Go to the past, project that into the future. You choose the timelines using your mind. You collapse timelines using your mind. You set expectations for your reality using the mind. You decide how quick or how slow anything happens in your life using your mind. It is, people think that time is linear, but you're constantly moving through time. Your mind is constantly moving through timelines, which is what makes the fact that in one moment you can be in a completely new reality, in a completely different timeline. That's what makes it real. Because you realize it's all right now. And that's the purpose of today's activation. Because I do not care for you to just come here for theory. I care for you to leave from here in a new timeline, integrated, embodied. That when you wake up tomorrow, life just works. That's the whole point. Because you need to really get this from the intellect, but also in the heart. And since I said we're going to be talking about time and space both, firstly, we understand now that what? Your mind is time. Okay, what about space? Right? We experience space in the 3D, don't we? The illusion of distance. We think space is physical. It's we the way that our senses make us see space is the distance between you and another object, right? So for example, the space between my face and this water bottle, right? Or the distance between you and what you want. But space is not out there. It is perception. Because if you close your eyes right now, go ahead, close your eyes for a second. Where's the wall? The distance between you and the door. Gone. The moment perception stops creating space, space collapses. It's why when you're dreaming, you can teleport, you can walk through walls, you can be two places at once. You're one at one moment, you're in, your childhood home, the other, you're in, like, I don't know, somewhere completely different, just next door. Why? Because perception is inactive when you're sleeping. Your mind isn't creating separation. What creates separation, what creates space is your perception. So when the perceptive filters are turned off, you realize what it truly means when we say there's only the now isn't some philosophical thing. It is that space isn't actually real and time is your freaking mind. So when you get that, embody that, everything happens in an instant, doesn't it? Because your ego is no longer fighting to be right. That, oh, it's illogical. Because now you've given the ego logic as well. Now you said, well, logically, actually, sir, these are the facts. You're wrong. I know, shocker, isn't it? But think about it. Have you ever thought about someone maybe, and they literally texted you that second? Like you were thinking about, and this happens so often, doesn't it? We think about someone and they text us. And one time I was thinking about someone, I went to a restaurant that night, and I wasn't even supposed to go to that restaurant. We were going somewhere else. We ended up going there, and that person was there. I had not spoken to or seen that person in 4 years, and they were just there. And I was like, whoa. We didn't cross the distance, you collapse the distance when that happens. Maybe think about a time when you had an opportunity fall into your lap. The second you gave up worrying. When you gave up worrying, your mind wasn't creating this separation anymore. You were just like, God damn it. That's what surrender is. It's when the mind is no longer perceiving space or time. And then that's where it bends. You don't chase it anymore, it bends to you. Or maybe one time you were deep in prayer and suddenly the thing you thought was far came to you overnight. Suddenly, this solution you thought was just, like, I don't even know how this is going to happen. Such a big problem, blah, blah, blah. And then it was just done. That surrender, collapsing space. Because space does not move through you, you move through space by perception. You move through space by perception. So the mechanic of this is what? Mind is time, space is perception. Does that make sense so far? Give me a one if it makes sense. Um, okay, so someone said, I have question regarding destiny. You mentioned something where we choose our destiny, but doesn't that go against the teaching of Islam? It actually doesn't, because God says everything was written in the book Lawh Mahfuz, right? And at the same time, we're also told when you give gratitude, you get more. Yes, balloons. We're also told, prayer changes destiny. We're also told all the laws of how to be as a being in the world. We're also told God says, I am how you think of me. We're also told God says, I don't change the state of a people until they change what's inside of them. So if what's inside of you is hopelessness and victimhood, and also God also says, by the way, what anything that is good in your life is from God. Anything that's evil is through the doing of your own hands. So when you think about destiny as just all these miserable things happening to you, then is that God willed? Does that actually go through what God says? So when it's said that everything is written in the book, that goes to say that creation is finished, which literally means that all timelines exist. You, through actually being an abundance incarnate, a person who surrenders, all of those things, you can receive whatever it is, the timeline that you want to be on. But you change your inner world, God changes the outer. And one more thing, think about it this way, that God says, the formula for creation, right? How did the earth come into being? God says, "Be and it is," right? He said that, "Be and it is." And for us, how does that translate to our lives? Be, as in being, your being. When you're being that person, God is the doer of what happens outside. So that ultimately also means that you're not attached to the outcome. You're not attached to how things happen. And when you're not attached to how it happens or whatever else, and you're actually your belief and your faith is so goddamn strong, you allow God to bring it to you effortlessly without thinking that destiny is some way for God to tell you that you're here to live hell on earth. You're not. And that's the lie. Um, I just don't want to fall into shirk. Yeah. We still have to make choices, take actions. Do you take the job? You cancel your date? Do you choose? How does that work? Again, like I said, at the end, we're going to tie everything back together. I mean, you guys can just like, if you pause the questions and if you allow what I'm sharing in every moment to go through you, it will all come together. But you won't even get this and you won't get that if you're just in question mode the entire time. So pause your questions, let your heart open and receive and see how that what I'm sharing in the moment resonates, right? So when we come to the mechanic again, which is time is mind, space is perception, right? So every second you grip with the mind, you stretch time. Every second you grip with perception, you stretch space. That's why your desires feel far away. That's why manifestations feel like they're taking forever. It's not that they're far, it's that your mind and perception are holding them hostage. But when you surrender, when the mind collapses, when perception collapses, time and space fold into the now. That's what a quantum leap is. Not effort, not strategy, a collapse of time and space through surrender to God. God. You don't move through time, time moves through you. You don't travel across space, space bends to your perception. Spoken surrender hopes. Heart surrender knows. Conviction. Every bow is a black hole. The gravity of God that bends all reality into the present. Because that's what Godspeed means. And that's why surrender is not a weakness. We have been trained to think that God, moving with God means moving in delays. But think about God. How can you know God and think that that's the truth? How can you know God, the creator of everything, the one who is the epitome of abundance? You think that God wants you to suffer, wants you to get whatever you want after 10 years? That God, he's written the bare minimum or less for you. That's why surrender is not a weakness. The last bow is not passive. It's the most violent thing you can do to the illusion of separation. When you bow, time collapses, space folds, all timelines converge. It's why the moment you let go, everything changes. You don't earn it. You simply stop fighting it. You stop denying yourself. You stop denying the truth. Because if you're moving through life scared, that's not your heart, that's your mind. Survival, lack, limitation, always doubting, always second guessing. Because you're so scared of joy. People are actually afraid of joy, of ease, because they didn't, because it doesn't wear the badge of honor that says you earned it. I was talking to one of my friends this just a couple of months ago, and they were like, "Oh, Anna, you've been in business for so many years. You earned everything going right finally. You earned the money you're making. You really struggled for all these years." And I looked at them and I was like, actually, um, it has nothing to do with the struggle or whatever. It's that I finally realized that I wasn't the doer. So I stopped worshiping my efforts and I started moving in alignment with God. That's when everything changed, when I got out of the way. All those years I was so in the way I couldn't receive. When you get out of the way, you're able to receive. So for a moment, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. Just this is going to be like a 5-minute thing. Just take a deep breath and just close your eyes for a second. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Take a deep breath once again through the nose, out through the mouth. I want you to take off your attention from your body. Just notice the black void all around you. Notice the infinite blackness, the space that spreads through eternity. Really bring all your awareness, just for a second, to the moment, to the space. And your eyes are closed. There is nothing, just awareness. Just awareness. Just this moment. And for a moment, if you were just awareness, and there was no time, no past, no future, just here, just now. All there is awareness. Now notice every thought you have. It's a thread pulling you backwards or forward. Every thought is a thread. And the moment you cut the thread, the moment the mind stills, time collapses. Time is moving through you. And right now, in this moment, as you're just here, it stops. And every single thing, every other thing is gone. There is no distance, there is no space, there is no time. And when mind dissolves and space dissolves, separation dissolves, you are not far from what you want. You are not moving towards it. It is already within you, already here, right now. Breathe into this timeless, formless state. No past, no future, no distance. Just here, just now, just God. Just stillness. Just knowing. Knowing that stills and surrenders the mind and the perception. State where all timelines converge, where quantum leaps become instant. And when you're in this state, you are timeless, spaceless, infinite. From this state, there's clarity, there's awareness, there's knowing. Whenever you're ready, you can come back and open your eyes to the world of senses. And the purpose of that little experience was to show you that usually I would take you for a ride for like a good 20, 40 minutes into the timeless space. But this was a shorter version of it to show you that the stillness you seek is not outside, it is within. It is literally a moment of just disconnecting from the false God, disconnecting from the senses, the perception that teaches us, that preaches to us something about who we are and our place in the world and our distance between our desires. Now, what I want to do in this almost final part of this call is to get practical with you. Okay. So everything was building up to this practical part of it. All right. Because I know you now understand surrender collapses timelines. So, what is it that determines the quality of your surrender? Why is it that sometimes when you let go, things shift instantly, and other times you let go, but it feels like nothing changes? And it all comes down to one thing, your self concept. Okay. And I'm going to break this down into a couple of segments, but the first thing I want to talk about is our thought forms. Okay. Your self concept is built up of a lot of different things, right? But thought forms are one of the most important part of it because in every one of us, we all live inside what? An energy field, right? Your nervous system, your aura, your subconscious web of beliefs. And in that field, there are thought forms, little unconscious blobs of energy. And this is important, by the way, when I say they're unconscious, because a lot of people think, well, I don't think like that, but it's like that code is running in their field. You don't have to consciously tap into it. It is very much alive in your field. And it could be something that says, I'm the kind of person who always struggles. If I don't hustle, I will be left behind. God helps me only at the last minute. Ease means I'm lazy. And these aren't just thoughts. They're programs, they're frequencies, they're blobs of sticky energy that bend the field around you. So when you say with your mouth, I surrender, but your self concept is coded with struggle, with lack, with delay, your field will filter surrender through that lens. You will bow, but still you will live as if God is distant. You'll pray, but you'll always expect what? Delays, punishment. Maybe you're always just so goddamn afraid. And that's why spoken surrender, a lot of times it feels hollow because your self concept is louder than your words. And another thing, your self concept is actually your God concept. And I'm going to talk about that for in a second. But true surrender isn't just saying God is the doer. I know that. Everyone knows that intellectually. But it is becoming the kind of person whose energy field knows that. If your self concept is, I am always safe, then surrender feels easy. If your self concept is, I am chosen, well, what does it actually mean to embody that? These are like, self concept without embodiment is just an affirmation. Like, I'm chosen, but you don't feel chosen. You're acting like a beggar, but your mouth is saying you're chosen. But if your self concept says God is cruel, unconscious again, you don't have to say it with your mouth. It's in the perception. And surrender feels like what? It feels like waiting for punishment. Your experience of God is filtered through the state you live by. So your field is either tuned into his mercy or your distortions. So the real the real practice, right? What is it? It's not begging, it's not journaling, I let go 1,000 times. It is building your self concept. Because every day, if you become aware of the thought forms that live in your field, then you can rewrite them. Because your self concept isn't, by the way, event specific. It's not, oh, I trust for this bill. I don't trust for this bill. I trust for this job. It's event agnostic. It has nothing to do with the what, the substance of the thing. It has to do with you in relation to the world. It's the filter that colors every surrender, every bow, every prayer. And so the practice, the rep, is rewriting your field until surrender becomes not what you do, but who you are. So the first step, you need to name the autopilot self concept. Like always, awareness. You need to know, what do you expect out of life? What do you expect from God? How do you expect? What is your knee jerk expectation from the world? What are the meanings, the definitions, the expectations your field is holding without you even realizing? Is it, by the way, that I need one more webinar, one more activation, one more course? Because if you're coming to even my stuff, if you're buying from me, even thinking that like the next thing will be, that will make sense, then, you're not living an embodiment of the work. You're just feeding your ego on more information. Like I love that you're here, but some of you, if you're not applying this, then you're just, using this as a crutch to stay in a, like in a timeline where things are just, it's never your turn for the miracle. You're delaying your own becoming. But if you come here just just like as a reminder, cool, but not seeking some solution anymore because you've learned enough, you've got it. Stop watching the videos. If you're not being it, then you're just intellectualizing everything. This is your corporate slavery. Like, I love you guys, but seriously, like, I don't know, like because you know everything. If you've learned enough, like, trust that you do. Make a decision, stick to it, and find out what is your autopilot. Maybe your autopilot, what do you unconsciously consent to as normal in your life? What have you normalized? Maybe your autopilot says life is always uphill, life is always painful. God only shows up last minute. Maybe it says I'm the one who has to prove themselves 10 times harder. I'm the one who never gets chosen first. I'm the one who prays and always gets tested. Your field is holding a story. Until you name the story runs you. And you need to decide, like, are you here to, suffer your way to success? Suffer through life? Or do you want to have it easy? Do you want ease or no? Do you want miracles or no? Do you want blessings or no? And I'm pretty goddamn sure you do. Because you wouldn't be here if you didn't. That's the thing. You don't have to suffer through hard work to get it. You just have to overcome yourself. And step two is the conscious rewrite. This is where you then go like, okay, well, now that I know, what is the reality fingerprint I want to choose? You write it, you memorize it, you convict in it, you know it, it becomes you. It becomes your baseline about life, about God, about success, about wealth, about opportunity, about love. What do you want to surrender to? What kind of God do you believe is behind your life currently versus what do you want it to be? Look at your life right now. What kind of God do you believe is behind it? And don't like say pretty shit to yourself. Be honest. How does God move in your reality right now versus how you want it to be? And then you rehearse it until it's normal, until it's not just words, but your nervous system's default setting. Think about Hebb's law, right? Neurons that fire together wire together. So every time you repeat the truth with conviction, not just words, you etch a new pathway. You recode the field. You collapse old defaults and lock in the new. This is the daily practice every morning, evening, night, remembering who God is, remembering what your God concept is, remembering what reality you surrender to now. And this is what you treat to be sacred over and over again. Not in a way that you're saying, oh, doing this is is what's changing my world. No, this is you doing the internal reps. This is you training the physical body to what your mental and spiritual self have collapsed. You can gamify it, you can make it fun, you can walk it, dance it, do whatever. Because remember, the earth is subservient to you, not your words, but your frequency, your energy field, your self concept. Because, like I said, your self concept is your God concept. God is the doer, but you're the decider. God makes it happen, but you decide what he makes happen through what you keep alive in your field. If your self concept says God is distant, you live timelines where he feels unreachable. If it says he's cruel, you'll filter every surrender through fear. If it says God is present and I'm chosen, you collapse into timelines where miracles are instant and ease is normal. Your field is not neutral, it is the lens through which you experience God. And now we come to the three planes of surrender. And this is, by the way, the practical element that I talked about, where you combine your mental, your spiritual, your physical, where you're not just like, okay, so I'm not doing anything. No, it's about what are you doing, right? Because surrender of the heart means aligning these planes of existence: the mental, your thought forms; the spiritual, your heart form; the physical, your body, your choices, your actions. When these collapse into the now, surrender stops being a thing you try. It's a frequency you live in. It's existence, heart surrender. And I could really teach you the whole thing and take 3 hours while at it, right? But what I want you to do, and this is what the workbook is, it's called the Self Concept Surrender Protocol. It breaks down daily 15-minute reps, weekly audits, and micro moves for money, for love, for health, for business. The first section will be you spotting the blobs, okay, the thought forms. So you can become aware, okay, what are the thought forms in my field, right? The second section, these will be baseline rewrites, which is event agnostic self concept templates. The third will be aligning your three planes, which means that when your mental is in check and your spiritual is in check, how does that make you move in the physical? Now, let me tell you this. When we talk about surrender, it doesn't mean you don't take action, but it means you remember this. There's this phrase in Arabic, right? It says, "Innamal a'malu binniyat," which means every action is measured by its intention, right? It doesn't negate action. It's about the form of the heart, the state of the heart before the action. Okay, you're taking action. Okay, you are taking action. I'm not here to teach you to like never ever take action a day in your life. No, you will take action, but the quality of your action, the quality of your energy when you're taking action, that is significantly different based on the state of your mental and spiritual plane. If you're taking action because you're afraid that, oh my God, if I don't do something about it, versus it's like, for example, in business, let's say you're running a business, right? Now, what would differentiate the two actions? You're going to take action in a business, right? One action would be, oh my God, okay, I need to be perfect so that I need people to like me. I need to like really think about what do people want from me? I need to say what they want. I need to like, da 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 da. It's very fear based. I need to send an email because like, if I don't do this, then this is not going to happen, blah blah blah. The other is you're in love with what you're doing. It inspires you, it excites you. You show up and you go like, okay, even if you're starting out, okay, you go like, if a million people were listening to me right now, what would I say and how would I say it? It means your action it's no longer dependent upon what you're seeing in the 3D. There could be your state of action is the same whether there are 10 people watching you or a million, 10 or 10,000. You're still showing up the way you would regardless. You're taking action, but you're not letting the world tell you how to be in your action. Let's talk about love, right? Let's say, for example, you're going on a date. If you're in the state of being where you're like, okay, well, I am love. I'm a magnet for love. It's my baseline. I meet, and your self concept says that, I always meet the most incredible people, and so on and so forth. Now you go on a date. You're not thinking, oh my God, does he like me? Does she like me? Should I like change myself for them to like me? You're going there as you are, fully, unconditionally, and you're asking yourself after, did I enjoy it? Do you see the difference? Your actions stop being performative and they start being present. When you are embodied in the state of being where it's already done, that is surrender. You move from expansiveness, fullness. You just radiate. You're just happy to be there. And that's what shifts everything because you're not doing any of those to convince yourself or convince God. You're just so deeply in love with the moment. And that's the point. Because I want you to get that this isn't a passive life. If you're starting the business, but you embody the end where it's already successful, where you're already making that impact, where it's already working out, you're showing up like, okay, I'm excited to serve. I know how the story ends. You believe in possibility. You live from that. And it's not a game of pretend. Because how could you not? You know God. And when that deep sense of awareness is sitting in the heart, you actually 100% do not care for proof on the outside. When you're living from aligned action, when you're living as an expression of your truth, you do not care about what happens in the 3D. You're not controlling how things come. You're not micromanaging it. You trust. You trust that it's done. So this is literally just the cherry on top because you already know it's done. If it's over, if it's a normal, if it's your baseline, why would you need the delayed shadow, which is the 3D, to validate you? That's what faith is. It's validation from God, from the knowing of God. And that's why we build our self concept, because the stronger you build it, the deeper into faith you morph. And in a moment, by the way, we're going to go into the final activation, right? And before that, I want to share something with you. So, when I first learned about manifestation and all of those things, I thought it was about creating our dream life, right? But actually, and I've shared this, I've talked about this. I've realized that the only reason our dream life feels dreamy is because it is the only reality our soul actually came to live out. It is our soul code, the life that is your birthright to live. That's why all religious scriptures tell us to give charity, take care of orphans, give to the needy. The assumption is that you are in such abundance, that you have the capacity to do that. And it's why every other life feels contracting, suffocating, exhausting. It's why you're drawn to a different dream reality than me, because we don't creatively come up with it. We already live with this code and we are drawn to it like a moth to a flame. So the only thing left to do, and excuse my French, is to unfuck yourself, to get initiated into the life you came here to live. Because, yes, you can build the self concept alone. You can take your time. You can do it slowly. You can rewrite the blob, and you should. That's the daily practice. But this is why I completely changed the essence of what Bali is meant to be. It is an acceleration. It is 6 days to unfuck yourself, your field, of ripping out the blobs, of collapsing false gods, hardwiring the truth that you are safe, you are chosen, you are whole. 6 days where surrender stops being a theory and it becomes your nervous system's default setting. Because the workbook that I share with you, it will let you recode blob by blob every single day. But if you're like me, you're crazy. I am crazy. I like to get I literally do these retreats with myself every few months where I just go in for 6 days and I do it all at quantum speed. And if that's what you want to do as well, if that's what your soul feels called for, Bali is 6 days of that with me. We're going to be going through 9D breathwork journeys. We'll be doing, so many different things. And all the details are on the page. I'll share that with you as well. But this is about rewriting your field in real time. It is the difference between months of practice and walking out reborn within a week. And if you've done the healing, you've done the courses, you've done the work, but you still feel like that life is somewhere out there, you're tired, and you just want to slip into that reality, like effortlessly. You just want to get that shit out of your field. Like, you want to live in a life that feels exciting. You want to stop visualizing the dream and start living it in flesh, in inspiration and awe and joy. Living every day is the adventure. That's what these 6 days are for. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat. We'll take a quick 5-minute break and we'll come back. We'll do the activation. Okay. But I want you to remember, whether Bali or you're doing this in your own home, you can if you want to. If you're like, Anna, I don't know if I can take that time out, make that space for yourself and do it. Because immersion and unplugging from the familiar, that's what speeds up the entire process. Honestly, when you disconnect from the familiar, from everything in your 3D, that triggers the same stuff, reminds you of the past. You disconnect and you just go within. 6 days for the rest of your life. I mean, damn, it's a bargain if I've ever seen one. So we'll take a 5-minute break. I'll drop the link in the chat. You can email me with any questions if you have them. And then we'll go into a really, really powerful activation. Okay.
There was a time I used to look into my father's eyes. In a happy home, I was a king, I had a golden throne. Those days are gone, now the memories on the wall. I hear the songs from the places where I was born. Upon a hill across the blue lake, that's where I had my first heartbreak. I still remember how it all changed. My father said, don't you worry, child. See, heaven's got a plan for you. Don't you worry now. A time I met a girl of a different kind. We ruled the world. I thought I'd never lose her out of sight. We were so young. I think of her now and then. I still hear the songs reminding me of a friend. Don't you worry can't win, I can't reign, I will
All right.
never win this game without you, without you.
All right. Okay. So for the activation, what I want you to do is you can sit down and do it, or you can lie down, preferably lie down. All right. And make sure no distractions, phones on silent, everything is on silent, and just drop into the moment. Actually, another thing, okay, never mind. All right, let's do this. Let me cue the music. You can get settled down till then. All right. Go ahead, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. With every breath, I want you to inhale love and exhale control. Really fill your body up with love. With every breath, becoming one with the moment, one with here, one with now. And feel your heart open. Feel it expand. Every breath, every moment, opening your heart more and more. This heart that you didn't earn, this heart that was given to you as a gift just for being here, just for being. A heart that has been beating relentlessly across your entire life. A reminder of the abundance that has always been your birthright, of love that you never had to earn, that there is someone who loves you more than anything you can ever imagine. The one who gave you breath, the one who gave you your heart, the one behind the many, the one behind the illusion, the separation, the moment. God, the only doer, the only one, the doer of everything in your life. A reminder of that. Now, slowly, I want you to imagine you're in a void, a space, black void of nothingness. And everywhere you look around you, all you see is blackness. And you're floating here. There's no gravity. There's no ground. You're just floating in nothingness. Feel the void, a space beyond space and time. All there is awareness. Just awareness, aware of nothing, of nowhere, no body. Just aware that you're aware. Here, now. And in this void in front of you, you see a ball of energy, very small, smaller than a ping pong ball. And it's very dim. And it's across from your heart. You notice this ball of energy barely flickering. And you're told that this ball of energy is here to drain out of your body every false god, every illusion of separation, every thought, every inch of you that was coded in limitation. It is here to cleanse you of it. And all you have to do is put your palms in front of you, and this ball starts to connect to both of your palms, and it starts to get bigger with every second, literally diffusing the charge of limitation from your body, draining out everything that is coded in lack, every ego mechanism of control. It starts to suck from your body, inch by inch, moment by moment. And you feel this at first is slow. You can feel the control leaving your mind, traveling down your neck, down your chest, down your arms, all the way to your palm, and entering that ball like it is a vacuum, sucking all lack, scarcity energy out of you. Feel it moment by moment. Feel it leaving your body, leaving your hands, leaving you slowly. Feel the control leave you. The illusions, the thoughts that were never yours to carry. Feel it all. And feel the ball becoming bigger with all that shit that was stored in your field. Feel this energy now plugging into the field around you. Now around you, you can see your energy field and notice that this ball, it goes ahead and it vacuums out from your energy field all these unconscious blobs of energy, all these unconscious thought forms. It literally draws it all out of your field, clearing you, cleansing you, liberating you one by one, thought by thought, limitation by limitation, ego mechanisms by ego mechanisms, one by one. Feel it, all these things that have had a chokehold on you, all the control you crowned as God in your life. Feel it all leave you once and for all of it being pulled out of you, all of it being burned out of you, all of it annihilated from you. from your body, your cells, your energy field, your being, and most importantly, your heart. Feel this ball of energy directly attach itself to your heart. And now pulling out of your heart every false god, every time you bow to the 3D, every time you made the 3D your idol, every time you gave someone other than God the right to control you, the right to throne you, the right to shift you, the right to have power over you. Feel it all being pulled out of you. Feel it all. Feel it leave you. Feel it electrify you. Feel it decode you. Feel it reset you until there is nothing that is left that speaks of ungodliness in you. Feel it all and feel this ball of energy bigger than your entire being. Shocked at how much limitation, how much ungodliness, how much scarcity you carried. Feel it standing in front of you, this huge ball, fueled by your limitation, fueled by your ego, fueled by your bowing to everything other than God. And you're looking at it now, face up, amused, in shock by how much slipped past your awareness, unconsciously controlled you. Let it all go. Let it all go. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. 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 Now, notice that this ball of energy has chained itself to your wrists, both your wrists carrying one chain each. And you will now free yourself and end this energy for good. What I want you to do is bring your awareness to your heart, to the fire in your heart, to the beating of your heart. Really tune in to your heart, feeling the limitations pulling your hands and the unlimited knowing of God beating in your heart. And with your heart, I want you to imagine that your heart is the one that will liberate you. Imagine a fire of liberation burning in your heart. The fire of oneness burning in your heart. The fire of knowing God burning in your heart. And I want you to, with your heart, set the intention. Dear God, free me of the chains of my ego. Use my heart to liberate me from all that has kept me under the illusion of separation. And I want you to imagine this fire from your heart burn outside of you, all the way on top of these wrists that have the chains. And I want you to imagine the fire of your heart burning these chains, unlocking them, freeing yourself, and feeling the weight, feeling it fade away in an instant. And this ball of energy that was once bright, big, fused by you, alive because of you, it instantly fades away it instantly dims down. It goes from bright and colorful to black and white. It goes from big and lifelike to instantly a small, little, lifeless ball. And I want you to imagine it is so dense, it is so useless, it is so lifeless that it literally, the fire of your heart burns it. And all that's left are ashes of once what was control, ashes, nothingness. And the only light all around you is the light of your faith, is the light of knowing God, is the light of knowing there is no time when you move with God. There is no space when you move with God. There's just right here, right now, surrender that burns timelines, surrender that melts everything. Surrender that says, God, my mind knows nothing. So guide me and lead me with the heart. Lead me to where I'm meant to be. Dear God, open doors for me that I don't even know how to knock. Move me through this world with ease in my spine, with overflow as my baseline, with your blessings wired in me in my DNA. Show me ease, show me effortlessness, and guide me to exactly the action that I'm meant to take, that expands me, that it feels exciting, that feels liberating, that opens my heart. Dear God, I know nothing, but that's okay because I move with you. And because of that, time bends for me. Space collapses for me. You open doors for me before I even knock. You make the impossible my normal. You make everything shift overnight because I move with you, God. Time does not exist for me. The world bends for me. It bows to me because I bow to you. There is no back and forth. There is no second guessing. There is just you, God. Let you be the only beat of my heart. Dear God, I know nothing, and so I let go. Inspire me, awaken me, move me through worlds. Melt my heart and surrender that sticks, that bows, that it feels peaceful, a knowing so strong it lives in. You are the doer of all that's done, and I choose in this moment the frequency of God that I collapse in my life. I want you to imagine all different timelines, infinite timelines like mirrors to your left and to your right, everywhere above you, in front of you, behind you, beyond you, all around you, infinite mirrors, infinite timelines, infinite frequencies of God. And you're in the middle, and you realize you never had to do anything but observe, but collapse, but choose. Because the moment you do that, your body will take the action it needs to. Your body will follow your mind. Your body will be guided by God to take the action that's necessary. And you will not have to figure it out. It will just be. You will just be. But the only thing that shifts is what you collapse. And through all these infinite timelines around you, you notice in your heart there is that of a soul code, a code that you were born with, a code of a reality that has always been your birthright. And that soul code starts to blink. Starts to blink from your heart. And there is one timeline of the infinite that you notice that begins to blink in the infinite. And your soul code recognizes that timeline multiple timelines over. That is that one timeline that blinks, and it blinks to the beating of your heart, blinks to the recognition of your soul. It's like an antenna, your soul catches it. It starts to glow. This timeline out of the infinite that you were born to live, the dream life, the dream reality, the dream code. And notice a little thread of light, of energy. Attach that timeline to your heart, wherever in infinite that exists. Notice this thread of energy plug from this timeline to your heart, from your heart to this timeline. And use your heart to draw that timeline to you. Use your heart. With your heart as the magnet, feel this timeline. Whatever it is for you, the timeline where God is the God of ease, of mercy, of openness, of expansion, where God makes everything your baseline, where abundance is your normal, where ease is your default setting. Feel your heart pulling this timeline to you, and you hear over and over again, you are the code. God is the doer. That the moment this timeline collapses with your heart, God bends the 3D. Your body knows what to do. Every plane of existence collapses here and now, here and now. Feel it closer and closer, from infinite to right now, from all timelines to one timeline, from all codes to your soul code, from all realities to your birthright. Here, now, wrapped around your heart, installed in you like a new code, like your real reality. And a sigh of relief leaves you of knowing you are home. Your soul was born to live this. You can feel your cells updating in real time. Every inch of you. Rewriting itself in this energy, dipped in knowing, dipped in surrender of the heart. This is your new baseline. Feel this code download in your spine. Feel it go all the way up to your mind. Literally feeling the energy in your beautiful mind. Feel the energy. Wire your mind to a new you. The you that you were born to be. Feel it. Feel your mind firing and wiring to a new reality. New thoughts, beliefs, consent, perception. Feel it go down your eyes, clearing your perception of reality, coding it with now your truth code. Feel it, your jaw, your voice open, your throat open. Truth being the only thing that lives in you. Feel it down to your shoulders. They strengthen, they broaden, they open down your chest. You're opening your heart, radiating, magnetizing, and drawing in this to you. Your self concept updated. There is no back and forth, just here now. Going down the lower centers of your body, all aligning to the one code, the one knowing, the one truth. Down your legs, your hand, your feet, knowing that every part of you now moves with this. Coherent, collided, oneness is all there is. And now, just let this energy flow through you and feel this. Let yourself feel this upgrade fully all around you, within you, through you. And feel it pull every new opportunity in love and success and abundance and health. Feel it, draw it all right here, right now, and lose yourself to this. Lose yourself to it. Lose yourself. Feel it. The code is upgraded. All has collapsed. There's just a knowing of unlimitedness. Here now. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just know that in a moment when you open your eyes, that is in the timeline your soul came to live. A timeline of ease, a timeline where you are the magnet, where you are the answered prayer, where every wish is already fulfilled, where God collapses time instantly, where everything is easy, it is effortless, it is fun, it is from God. Feel it. And bring your awareness back to a new body, a new environment, and a new line of time. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes knowing you're in a new world. Life can never be the same again. Welcome to your soul code, to your final surrender. Welcome to everything that pours from here on out. All you have to do is allow, move, liberate, and just let life touch you, move through you, pour into you. Thank you so much for joining, whether you're catching it live on Zoom, on YouTube, or in the replay. It has been an honor, a privilege, and an absolute joy to do this. The final thing I'm going to let you leave with is you are the code. The answer has always been you. Your knowing of God, your recognition of God. When you allow yourself to experience the infinite that God really is, magic happens and you get to be the witnesser of it. So thank you. I will send you the workbook in the email with the link to the replay, which is on YouTube. And if you have any other questions, you can email me. I love you, and I'll see you soon.